Well, Apple has officially launched its new artificial intelligence features. It's called Apple Intelligence. It was rolled out in Canada as of Monday for select devices with the latest software updates. Company is hoping the tools will change how people use their iPhones and, of course, help Apple in its ongoing race with competitors like Microsoft and Google. Patrick O'Rourke is the device manager and the editor at Pocket-Lint. He's had a couple of days now to look at Apple Intelligence and give us a sense of what it's like. Okay, so what do you think?
It's interesting. It's kind of an odd rollout for Apple. Some of the features are here, some of them aren't here. It's very un-Apple-like in some ways, but there's cool tools in there. I've been using Cleanup a lot with the Photos app. It kind of allows you to delete things from images, similar to what Google's done with Gemini on the Pixel 9 side of things. There's AI summaries of notifications, which kind of questionably useful so far. They don't really work as advertised. And then there's AI writing tools where you can kind of finesse the way that you're composing your prose in some ways. So some of the stuff's here, but there's still a long way to go.
Yeah, what's the number one thing you think that people who decide to use this are going to notice here in terms of finding Apple Intelligence and using it in sort of practical ways?
I think one of the things people are going to notice immediately is that some of the features they're just not here yet. And the key one for me is Siri. We have a more conversational Siri right now, but it's not the contextual Siri that Apple kind of promised, where it can like reach out to ChatGPT and get more information for you. That's coming in a couple months, but it's not quite here yet. So at least as a consumer, my initial reaction was this is only some of the stuff that Apple's promised so far.
Tell me as well about what's at stake here, do you think, for Apple when it comes to, trying to move toward greater AI? We talked about some of the competitors there. I mean, Apple is such a juggernaut in the tech world, but trying to get AI right is really crucial for really any company in the industry.
Yeah, AI is the buzzword right now. Every company is working towards it. You have Microsoft with Copilot, you have Google with Gemini. Both those platforms are out and they're relatively complete. They're still works in progress, but they're far more complete than what Apple Intelligence is right now in its current state. I think this is Apple playing catch up to some extent, and it's just not quite there yet. And it's a very un-Apple like rollout. We're getting some features now, some features are coming later. Some features even require you to opt into a beta, even now that it's publicly available, Apple Intelligence. So it's a bit confusing from a consumer perspective, but it's obviously very important for the company. It's something that investors want. It's something that its board of executives want. It's the future for the company in several ways.
And so even the fact we're talking about Apple AI helps because even if it's just the beginning, it sort of shows where they're going down the line. And this will all come with future software updates, correct?
Yeah, a lot of stuff's coming in 2025, very early 2025. That's the contextual Siri that I mentioned earlier. There's a visual feature that lets you use the camera button to identify objects. There's all kinds of stuff coming down the line. And this is kind of just the start for Apple. And hopefully, it's a little too early to tell. I'm not super impressed yet, but some of the features coming later could be far more impressive than what we've seen from Google with Gemini or from Microsoft with Copilot.
Is the ultimate aim at the end of the day to try and make the phone work better or make things more convenient or eliminate some of those kind of more mundane tasks for users?
I think that's kind of the goal with the more contextual Siri. You'll be able to ask it to do simple tasks within apps. Like it'll be aware that you're using the calendar app, and you can ask it to set certain appointments for you and things like that. That's kind of the long-term goal of AI. Some of the writing tools that I've played around with, they're interesting too. I'm not sure I'm the audience for like AI writing, since I write for a living. But I can see it being useful for some users, especially if you're just trying to get together a very quick, simple, straightforward email.
Patrick O'Rourke joining us with Pocket-Lint. Hey, good to see you as always. Thanks for taking the time for CTV News today.
Thanks for having me.